It is 6:34 in the morning when the first vibration shivers the counter. You are in the kitchen, barefoot on cool tile, waiting for the kettle to whistle. The sky outside the window looks ordinary, a soft grey that promises nothing unusual. You reach for a mug without thinking, the quiet hum of an appliance filling the silence. Then your phone erupts, a tone you have never heard, long, metallic, absolute. For a breath you assume it is a glitch, maybe a test you somehow missed, until the screen lights your hand with a single line, ballistic missile threat detected. You freeze. The kettle keeps warming, indifferent. The second sensory hit comes fast, a far-off siren rolling across the neighborhood, rising and falling as if the air itself has changed shape. The mug doesn't reach the counter. You set it down without looking. Hands clumsy, breath shallow. Your first instinct is disbelief. Your second is denial. But the voice inside, quiet, steady, tells you this is real enough that hesitation becomes risk. You look around your kitchen, ordinary objects, ordinary light, a world that was intact less than a minute ago. Somewhere down the block, a car alarm begins to wail. Somewhere else, a dog stops barking. The kettle clicks off. You inhale. The air feels different now, heavier, charged, expectant. You do not know what city was hit. You do not know how close you are. All you know is the next action matters. You whisper one word to yourself, move. In the first 5 minutes after the alert, your body moves before your mind fully catches up. The phone screen still glows with that impossible message. You step away from the window instinctively, your hand finding the counter for balance. The morning light feels suddenly dangerous, as if it might change without warning. You know one fundamental truth. Fallout takes time to arrive. The blast itself, if it happened, came and went before you heard the siren. What follows is invisible, carried by wind, settling slowly. You have a window, 15 minutes, maybe less. Distance, shielding, and time. The three principles that separate survival from exposure. The bathroom. You think of it immediately. Interior walls, no windows on one side, tile that offers mass. You move toward the hallway, passing through the living room, where morning sun still angles peacefully through the blinds. You resist the urge to look outside. Curiosity is a liability now. Your hands find towels in the linen closet, thick ones, the kind you save for guests. You grab duct tape from the kitchen drawer, a roll of plastic sheeting from under the sink. Your movements feel both hurried and deliberate, as if your body has accessed some dormant instruction set. The siren continues its wavering call. Somewhere a car door slams. A voice shouts something indistinct. You don't open your front door, you don't call out. Every second outside this space is a second closer to exposure. In the bathroom, you press the first towel against the window frame, running tape along its edges. The adhesive makes a tearing sound that feels too loud. Your hands tremble slightly. You breathe, 3 counts in, 4 counts out. Again. This is fear, you name it. You don't let it choose for you. The window's sealed. You step back into the hallway. You close the bedroom door behind you, then the one to the kitchen. Each barrier matters. Even wood reduces exposure. Even distance helps. You think, I am creating space between myself and what is outside. You check your phone. 6:39 a.m. 5 minutes have passed. You've made your first decisions. You've begun to build your shelter. That is survival. By the 10th minute, your breath has found a rhythm that feels almost mechanical, but it keeps panic at bay. You move through the house, closing interior doors, not because they're strong, but because layers matter. Every surface between you and the outside air reduces the radiation that could reach you. The living room blinds. You close them now, pulling the cord until the slats seal shut. Glass fragments travel faster than human reaction time. If there's a pressure wave delayed, if something secondary occurs, windows become weapons. You learned this once, somewhere. Now it's relevant. You stuffed the heavy blanket from the couch along the bottom of the hallway door, pressing it into the gap with your foot. The rough weave catches against your skin. Another small anchor. Another task completed. Your watch reads 6:44 a.m. Time moves strangely, too fast, too slow, both true at once. Your phone buzzes again. You stop your hand before reaching for it. Information discipline matters as much as physical shelter. Too many alerts will overwhelm you. Too much news will paralyze you. You turn the phone face down. Not off, you may need it, but not visible. Through the window across the room, something bright flares. Reflected light, maybe. Dust particles catching sun. No sound follows. You don't investigate. You don't look directly. Instead, you gather what you can without breaking the seal of your house. 3 water bottles from the refrigerator, 2 granola bars from the cupboard, the small battery-powered radio from the junk drawer. They clatter softly as you carry them into the hallway. Each item feels strangely symbolic, ordinary things suddenly redefined by necessity. You place the bottles in a neat line on the tile floor. With a marker you find in your pocket, you label 1. Day 1. And this moment feels like admitting something out loud, but naming it is control. Outside, a neighbor shouts. The sound is muffled, distant. You hear footsteps running. Part of you wants to open the door, to help, to see what's happening. You don't. That instinct, the one that says, look, help, no, can kill you now. You breathe. Again. 4 counts. You're still acting with purpose. You have what you can carry. Now you shelter. By the first full hour, 7:34 a.m., you're sitting on the bathroom floor with your back against the tub. It's the innermost, most shielded space you have, surrounded by dense tile and plumbing. The radio sits beside you, hissing softly with static. Every few minutes you feel the urge to stand, to pace, to do something more. This is where mental discipline becomes as critical as physical preparation. The most common errors in the first hour are opening a window to check, leaving to find family members, searching for information outside, assuming it's over when no new sound arrives. You feel all 4 impulses, you act on none. Instead, you take a sheet of paper from the bathroom drawer, an old receipt, anything, and write 3 things. Time entered shelter, 6:37 a.m. Primary room, bathroom, water, ration, 1 bottle. First, 12 hours. This is more than record-keeping, it's structure. Crisis compresses time until everything feels simultaneous. Writing stabilizes sequence. It gives you a task that has a beginning and an end. From somewhere distant, you hear a siren, wavering, inconsistent, not the usual rising and falling emergency tone. This one sounds broken, like it's catching interference or damage. You listen, you don't investigate. You close your eyes and picture the walls around you as layers. Drywall, insulation, outer siding, more drywall. You imagine the particles outside settling like silent ash onto rooftops, sidewalks, cars. You remind yourself of what you know. The first 24 hours matter most. Radiation decreases rapidly. Each hour in early fallout, intensity drops. Staying inside now gives you the highest chance. The light in the bathroom is dim, just a sliver from the hallway. Good. Less exposure if the window seal fails. You take 3 slow breaths. This is the quiet where panic tries to take over, where your mind wants to fill the silence with worst-case fantasies. You push it back with facts. You are inside, you are sealed, you have water, you have time. You've built the first barrier, physical and mental. It holds. Hold still. Let the hour pass. Endurance begins now. By the second hour, 8:34 a.m., your body feels the stiffness of sitting in one place. But movement now is about logistics, not comfort. You stand carefully, stretch your legs, and step into the hallway to add a second layer of sealing around the doorframe. Another towel, another line of duct tape. The adhesive sticks unevenly, catching your skin. The small sting keeps you present, anchored in the task. The air in the sealed space feels slightly heavier. Not unsafe, just still. Mechanical systems in houses pull air slowly through cracks and vents. You've blocked most of them. Stillness is good. Stillness means control. You take inventory again. Water, 2.5 litres. Food, adequate for 24 hours. Radio, static. Phone, silent except for emergency notifications. Your eyes settle on the hallway floor where dust has collected. Normal household dust, not fallout, but it triggers the thought anyway. You push the anxiety back with fact. Fallout outside cannot reach you through sealed barriers. It's physics, not luck. You turn the radio knob a fraction, the hiss deepens, then fades. No voice, no instructions. Silence presses in. You count your breaths. In for 3. Hold for 1. Out for 4. Repeat until your pulse steadies. You check the paper again, reading your own handwriting. This anchors you in time, proves you're still making decisions. You place a heavy bath mat along the base of the bathroom door. Another layer, more distance. Good. Every barrier you build widens the space between you and what waits outside. Your task is not perfection, it's reduction. Reduce exposure, reduce risk. Reduce the number of paths between outside and in. You sit back down, the tub feels solid against your spine. You mark the time on your paper, 8:34. Seals reinforced. The ritual steadies you. By the third hour, 9:34 a.m., you hear something new. A distant rumble, irregular and low. Not a second blast. Something structural, transformers failing, distant collapses. Vehicles reacting to shockwaves long after the initial event. You cling to what you know. If your windows didn't break during the first minutes, you're outside the severe damage zone. The danger now is fallout, invisible, carried by wind, settling slowly. You resist the urge to peek through the cracks around the sealed bathroom window. Curiosity presses hard, human, primal. A need to see what the world looks like now that everything has changed. You stop your hand mid-reach. Wait, listen, decide. Instead, you create a routine. Every 30 minutes, check the radio. Every 30 minutes, check the seals. Every 30 minutes, write the time on your paper. This structure gives your mind something to hold. Without structure, panic expands to fill the silence. You take a small sip from the water bottle, measured, controlled. The cool plastic touches your lips. You recap it tightly. Rationing is not about scarcity yet. It's about discipline. Your phone buzzes. You check it cautiously. Emergency alert. Remain sheltered. Do not travel. Fallout expected in your region. The confirmation hits harder than the words. The threat is real. This is not a drill. This is not a false alarm. You sit back in the bathtub, pulling the blanket around your shoulders, not for warmth, for weight. Weight grounds the body. A grounded body calms the mind. Stay small, stay inside. You cannot control the outside world, but you can control this space, this breath, this moment. You survived the blast. Now survive the waiting. By hour 4, 10:34 a.m., the shift becomes more pronounced. Your home no longer feels like a home. It has transformed into a shelter. Every object has a purpose. Every surface is part of your barrier. The ordinary has disappeared, replaced by function. The light filtering from the hallway dims. Cloud cover maybe, or particulate density outside thickening, and this is likely a sign that fallout is descending. You remain in your sealed zone. You take the small rug from outside the bathroom and press it against the vent. Not airtight, but it reduces airflow. You tape along the edges until it looks like a patchwork panel. Crude, but effective. Your stomach tightens. Not hunger, stress. You force yourself to eat half a granola bar. Calories maintain clarity. You turn the radio dial again. For a moment, between bands, you hear a fragment. Remain in, shelter up to 24. The words dissolve back into static, but it's enough. A thread, a lifeline. You repeat the message silently. Remain in shelter. Up to 24, a mantra disguised as instruction. A thud echoes from somewhere outside, something falling, a branch, debris carried by post-blast winds. You do not investigate. You feel guilt briefly. Neighbors, strangers, anyone else who might not have sheltered in time. This guilt is a normal response. You acknowledge it. Then you set it aside. Your survival depends on staying inside. You cannot help anyone if you expose yourself. You check the time again. 10:34 a.m. You write. Seals reinforced. Radio signal partial. The house and your mind are both sealed now. Both need maintenance. Do not open doors, not for noise, not for light, not for fear. By hour 5, 11:34 a.m., you understand that survival is not one decision. It's a series of small refusals. You refuse to open the door when you hear footsteps in the street. You refuse to check your phone every few minutes. You refuse to imagine worst-case scenarios. You refuse to give panic a voice. The radio continues its static hiss. You've tried 12 different frequencies, nothing clear. This is expected. Infrastructure damage, overwhelmed broadcasts, distance from transmission towers, or maybe the message is simply this: stay inside, there's nothing more to say yet. You ration your second sip of water. You mark the time on your paper. You check the towel seals around the door. The routine holds you together. Outside, the world has gone quieter. No more sirens, no more shouts, just an absence of sound that feels heavier than noise. You think about the people you know, family, friends, co-workers. You don't know where they were when the alert came. You don't know if they made it inside. You don't know if they're safe. This not knowing is its own kind of radiation, invisible, pervasive, damaging if you let it in. You breathe it out. 4 counts. You focus on what you can know. You are inside. You are sealed. You have water. You have time. These facts are solid. Everything else is speculation. The bathroom tile feels cool against your back. You shift your weight slightly, feeling the muscles in your legs protest the hours of stillness. You stretch them carefully, methodically, without standing. Movement helps. Small adjustments keep your body from locking up, keep blood flowing, keep your mind aware that you're still capable of action. You are not waiting to be rescued. You are maintaining your shelter. There's a difference. You mark the time, 11:34 a.m., 5 hours. You've endured. You continue. By hour 6, 12:34 p.m., the light in the hallway has shifted to a pale grey. Midday, but it doesn't feel like it. Everything feels suspended, caught between before and after. You hear it then, a knock, soft, hesitant, on your front door. You freeze. The knock comes again. Then a voice, muffled through the walls. "Please, is anyone there?" Your hand moves toward the bathroom door before you stop it. Every instinct says help. Every instinct says open the door. But you know that opening the door breaks your seal. It lets in whatever is outside. It exposes you to contamination. It eliminates the distance you've created. The voice continues, quieter now. Then footsteps moving away. Then silence. You sit back against the tub, your heart pounding. You feel the guilt settle over you like weight. Someone needed help. You didn't help. This is survival's moral cost. You acknowledge it. You breathe through it. You cannot help if you're contaminated. You cannot help if you're exposed. Your survival gives you the chance to help later when it's safer, when the radiation levels have dropped. You manage the guilt the way you manage the fear. You name it, you understand it, you don't let it control you. You take a controlled breath. You check the seals again. You mark the time. The bathroom feels smaller now, tighter. The air tastes stale. You crack the interior door open just slightly. Not the door to outside, but the one between the bathroom and the hallway, allowing minimal circulation within your sealed zone. You've refused the door. You've chosen survival. That choice has weight. You carry it. You return to the corner of the room. You breathe again. This is endurance. This is discipline. Hold the line. By hour 8, 2:34 p.m., time has begun to feel elastic, stretching in strange ways. Minutes feel like hours. Hours feel like minutes. Your sense of sequence depends entirely on the watch on your wrist and the marks on your paper. You've rationed half your first water bottle. You've eaten the second granola bar, slowly, making it last. Your body is managing. Your mind is the challenge now. Stillness has become harder than action. When you were sealing doors and gathering supplies, you had purpose. Now you have waiting, and waiting is its own kind of work. You practice the breathing technique again. In for 3, hold for 1, out for 4. You've done this perhaps 100 times today. It works.
Not because it stops fear, but because it interrupts it, gives your nervous system something else to focus on. The radio remains static, but you've stopped checking it every few minutes. You check once per hour now, conserving battery, conserving hope. You think about the science of what's happening outside, fallout particles settling, radiation levels peaking in the first hours, then declining. The 7-10 rule: for every 7-fold increase in time after detonation, radiation levels drop by a factor of 10. 7 hours, 1/10 the initial level, 49 hours, 100th. You're in the most dangerous window now, but the danger is decreasing with every hour you wait. This knowledge steadies you. You check your phone briefly. Battery at 64%. No new alerts. No messages. Service is likely down, towers damaged or overwhelmed.
You turn the phone off to conserve power. If official word comes, it'll come through the radio. You mark the time. 2:34 p.m., 8 hours. You've crossed the threshold where radiation has already dropped significantly from its peak. You continue. The stillness protects you. The waiting saves you. Stay inside. Stay sealed. Stay alive. By hour 10, 4:34 p.m., you've created micro-routines to mark the passage of time. Every hour you stand carefully, stretch, check the seals, sip water, mark the paper, sit back down. These small rituals give structure to shapelessness. The light in the hallway has dimmed further. Late afternoon, though you can't see the sun, you don't turn on lights. You conserve everything: battery, water, mental energy. Your body aches from sitting. Your mind aches from waiting. But you're functional. You're managing. You think about the world beyond your sealed bathroom. Streets you walked yesterday, offices where people worked, schools where children learned. All of it changed now, or gone, or waiting in some other sealed space like yours. You don't know the scale, you don't know the damage. And that not knowing is perhaps the hardest part. Your mind wants to fill the gaps with story, with assumption, with fear. You resist. You focus on facts. You are inside. You are protected. Time is passing. Danger is decreasing. The radio hisses. You turn the dial slowly, searching, band after band of static. Then a tone, clear, distinct. You freeze, your hand on the dial. A voice follows, broken by interference, but unmistakable. Emergency broadcast. Remain in shelter. Authorities are responding. Stay inside. Further instructions. The voice fades back into static. But you heard it. Confirmation. Structure. Authority.
Someone is responding. You exhale slowly. You didn't realize how tightly you were holding your breath. You write on your paper, 10:34 p.m., radio contact, partial, authorities responding. This changes nothing about your situation. You still stay inside, you still wait. But now you know you're part of a response, not isolated in chaos. You mark the time, 10 hours. Routine protects your mind more than walls protect your body. Continue, endure. By hour 12, 6:34 p.m., darkness has settled fully. 12 hours since the alert, 12 hours since your ordinary morning shattered.
You've been in this bathroom for most of that time. The space has become simultaneously familiar and strange, yours, but transformed. You use the flashlight sparingly, short bursts to check the seals, to mark your paper, to navigate. Mostly you sit in darkness. Darkness helps. It removes the visual stimuli that trigger restlessness. It forces your other senses to sharpen, sound, touch, the awareness of your own breath. You practice a grounding technique. Name 3 sounds: the hum of the house settling, the faint static from the radio, your own breathing. Name 2 textures: the tile against your palm, the blanket around your shoulders. Name 1 emotion: tired, not terrified, not panicked, tired. This works. It anchors you in the present moment, instead of letting your mind spiral into past or future. You've finished your first water bottle. You mark it on your paper. Bottle 1, complete. You open the second. You take a measured sip. Your body is holding. Your mind is holding. You're 12 hours into what may need to be 24 or more. Radiation levels outside have dropped substantially by now. Not safe yet, but significantly safer than the first hours. The exponential decay curve is working in your favor with every hour that passes. You check your watch, 6:34 p.m., exactly 12 hours since the alert. You've reached the halfway point of the minimum shelter time. You mark another line on your paper. Time continues. The darkness presses close but not threatening, just present. You've made peace with it. You wrap the blanket tighter, you breathe, you wait. This is survival, not dramatic, not heroic, just patient. You're still here, that's what matters. By hour 20, 12:34 a.m., you've crossed into the next calendar day. You didn't sleep much, brief periods of half-consciousness, always listening, always aware. The radio, which you check hourly now, suddenly shifts. The static clears partially. A voice comes through. But this is the emergency broadcast system, but if you are hearing this, remain in your shelter. Authorities are establishing safe zones. Radiation levels are decreasing. Stay inside until you receive official clearance. The voice provides coordinates, frequencies to monitor, instructions for when to evacuate and when to stay. You write everything down, your hand shaking slightly. Not from fear now, from relief. From validation that the system is responding. That order still exists somewhere. The voice continues. First responders are operating in affected areas. Do not attempt to self-evacuate. Fallout levels remain dangerous in some zones. Minimum shelter time is 24 hours from initial alert. Further updates will follow. 24 hours! You're at 20 now. 4 more to go. You can do 4 more. You've already done 20. You adjust your position, your body protesting. You stretch your legs carefully. You take another sip of water. You mark the time. The voice on the radio repeats its message, then fades back to static. But it's enough. You know what you need to know. Stay inside. 4 more hours, then await official clearance. You breathe. The air in your sealed space is stale but breathable. Your supplies are holding. Your mind is holding. You've survived the most dangerous period. Now you complete the protocol. 4 more hours, then whatever comes next. You mark the time. 12:34 a.m., day 2. You've lasted through the night. Through the most dangerous hours. You continue. By hour 24, 6:34 a.m. The first hint of dawn leaks through the edges of your sealed window. Grey light, weak but present. You've been awake for the last hour, listening to the radio. The broadcasts are more frequent now, more detailed. They're establishing evacuation routes, they're identifying safe zones, they're instructing survivors on decontamination procedures. You've made it, 24 hours, the minimum shelter time, but you don't leave yet. The broadcasts say to wait for official clearance for your specific area, to monitor radiation levels, to follow designated routes only. You understand now that survival isn't one dramatic choice. It's a series of small disciplines repeated over hours. It's breathing when you want to panic. It's staying when you want to leave. It's trusting the protocol even when every instinct says move. You look at the water bottle you labeled in the first hour. The ink has smudged slightly, but the words remain. Day 1, like you, marked, changed, but still here. You check the paper where you've tracked time, 23 hash marks, 23 hours documented. Proof that time passed, that you endured, that you maintained discipline when it mattered most. The radio crackles. Residents in grid sectors 4 through 9, you are cleared to begin careful evacuation. Follow designated routes, cover skin, avoid contact with outdoor surfaces, proceed to decontamination stations. You don't know if you're in sectors 4 through 9. You wait for your sector to be called. You've waited this long, you can wait longer. Outside you hear an engine, official by the sound of it, organized, purposeful. The response is here. You breathe. You've done what you needed to do. You've survived through distance, shielding, and time. Whatever comes next, you're ready. You endured. That's survival. You stand slowly, your legs unsteady, after so many hours seated. You move to the bathroom door, your hand on the handle, not to open it yet, just to feel it, to know you could. The house around you is silent, your shelter held. You look at the supplies scattered across the tile floor, the water bottles, the radio still hissing softly, the paper with its neat lines marking time. You hold the first water bottle to the dim morning light. Day 1, the date you wrote is blurred, but not erased. Like you, marked, changed, but still here. Outside, the engine sound grows closer. A loudspeaker, clear instructions, official voices, structure returning. You don't rush. You've learned that survival isn't about speed. It's about patience, about discipline, about doing the next right thing even when fear says, do anything else. You seal the water bottles, you fold the paper and place it in your pocket. Evidence, memory, proof. When the official clearance comes for your sector, you'll be ready. You'll unseal the door carefully. You'll follow the decontamination protocol. You'll walk the designated routes. You'll do whatever comes next with the same discipline that got you through the first 24 hours, because you learned something in this sealed bathroom, in these long hours of waiting. You are capable of more than you knew. You can endure. You can choose discipline over panic. You can survive. The loudspeaker calls your sector. You take one last breath in this space that protected you. Then you begin the careful process of unsealing the door. You step forward into whatever world remains, changed but not broken.